Physical Therapy Headquarters podcast. Today, Ben and I are covering why you need to be charging more in your practice and why your area isn't broke, your pricing and your messaging is. And so we're going to be breaking down why some PTs in your area are able to charge $200, $250 per session with fully booked schedules while you're still struggling to sell anything above $150. So we've been taking in hundreds of surveys every single month now. And the biggest problem that are facing our audience is not feeling confident with their prices. So we're going to dive into everything you need to know about charging the right rates, how to communicate that stuff, and why it is absolutely essential to get where you're trying to go and get out of the hustle and grind of up and down months, month after month after month. So ready to get into it. How you feeling, Ben?
Good. Yeah, I'm excited about this one. It's just such a common misconception and belief, not just amongst people that are thinking about starting cash pay practices or in cash pay practices, but just the physical therapy profession as a whole, on what people actually pay.
Right. And everyone thinks that, when you're just starting out, I got to charge $100, $150 because that's going to get more people to want to work with me so I can build a caseload and I can start to increase my prices over time. And obviously we know that that isn't the case.
Yeah, far from.
Right. So what happens if you start with low rates is you attract people who are deal seekers. You attract cheap people. And so what a lot of people are shocked to find is that it is actually harder to sell cheap rates than it is to sell premium rates because people actually believe that it's going to be a superior service. Because if it's cheap, how good can it actually be? So we had this problem with one of our clients years ago. They now have almost a multi-7-figure clinic in the middle of Hodunk nowhere, Wisconsin, nowhere. We're talking population size of 30,000 people, small place. And when they came to us, they had been in practice for over 2 years. They'd been through every single coaching program, and they weren't able to get anything to work. They're doing workshops and they're running ads to them, but they were just breaking even, and they were burning out because one of them was working another job. The other one was trying to raise their, I think, 2 or 3 kids. So they were tired. And so they got referred into us. And the first thing we told them is they had to increase their rates. And they fought tooth and nail on it, saying no one in our blue collar town is ever going to pay $200 plus per visit, let alone cash packages. And luckily they weren't in a position to argue because their practice and their livelihoods were on the line. So they just did it. And literally within 60 days, they generated over $30,000 and their conversion rates went up when they went from $125 a session to $200 a session and selling packages to collect that money up front. So I tell you this because the people in your community aren't broke. You just haven't found the right way to find them and get in front of them and communicate your services in a way that makes it feel more than just physical therapy.
Yeah, that's really what it is. I remember when I started out, I was charging $135 a session. The amount of people, I had more people negotiate and haggle on price in those first 6 months. We've been in business for over eight years now. I had more people finagle with us on price and try to negotiate price in those first 6 months than we had on the 7.5 years after that, when we started actually charging over $200 of what we should have been charging from the get-go. And so that's the thing too, is if your rates are $130 to $150 and you're like, I'm already getting tons of people with tons of objections, how the hell am I going to charge $200? The reason you're getting hit with as many objections is because your rate's being at $130 to $150. You'll get fewer objections when you're actually at $200. And it's such a mindset shift, and it's kind of hard to conceptualize and wrap your head around it until you actually get into it and start pitching these rates. But that's just also the conviction. The pricing communicates what your value is too. And like Jordan was saying, how great can you actually be if you're mixed in with everybody else and you're charging the same as a massage therapist,
right.
Doctor, how great can this actually be? Yeah, I'm going to try and negotiate, and I'm going to get pushback on pricing because of it.
Right. And you said something that's really important that I think we need to dig into. It's everyone says you need to have confidence. You need to have conviction in your sales. But for people who don't have conviction or don't have that confidence, where does that even come from? And the reason you lack confidence and conviction in the value that you're providing people is you have no idea how to communicate it because you've never actually thought about it. So Ben, that's why Ben and I are doing a workshop this Saturday, March 7th at 11 a.m. PST. If you want to register, we'll put a link beneath this video. But you need to dig into exactly who your dream patient is. You got to get really specific on who is this person that I want to clone and duplicate again and again and again in the business. And then you need to ask yourself, what are the things that they've already tried? Why did those things not work? What are their secret desires? What are their secret fears? What are their current beliefs that are preventing them from moving forward and getting the treatment that they actually need? And when we're able to talk to their secret desires, their secret fears, the things that they, how they communicate their problem to other people, or what they say and think to themselves when they're up at 2 a.m. because they're in pain and they're thinking that they might have to give up CrossFit or give up running, give up their identity. Like those thoughts, when our marketing and our messaging communicate that, we're no longer talking about our services. We're talking about our patients' lives. And when we start to frame what it is we do for people around these really in-depth, emotionally charged problems and desires that they have, suddenly we start to believe way more in our services because we actually understand what it is that we're really selling. A lot of you are afraid to charge more because you don't actually understand what it is that you're selling. You're selling physical therapy. And you don't, everyone says like sell transformations, but what the fuck does that mean? You know, like no one knows what that actually means. And what it means is actually understanding Hell Island that your prospect is currently at. What is the core problem that they have right now? What have they tried? Why did those things not work? What are the consequences? Like, what's the old belief that they have right now that's keeping them stuck? That insurance is the best way to get my problem solved, maybe. And what are the consequences of that problem? Where they're bouncing from provider to provider, getting 3 different opinions on what's going on, and how is that problem showing up in their life? And you stack that. So we have a very, very deep understanding of every pain that they're experiencing right now and the consequences of those beliefs. Then we map out Heaven Island. What is the result of your unique process at the end? What's the destination B that you're taking them to? And when you fully map that out and understand it, well, now when you sell transformations, you actually know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, so you're just selling physical therapy, you're lost.
Right, you're a commodity.
Yeah, of course, nobody's going to pay that. If you're just selling physical therapy, nobody's going to pay 200 or 130 bucks, let alone 200 bucks. So it's how you're positioning what you're actually selling.
100%. So if you think that people won't pay premium prices in your area, you're probably right, because all you're selling is physical therapy, because you've never did the actual deep work to understand who your person is, what they truly want, what are the beliefs that they need to have in order to see you as the logical solution, and mapped out the transformation. Because when you do that, the way you communicate it, the confidence you communicate it in, the level of empathy that you have, well, that attracts the right types of people. And that's where you get the confidence, the conviction, and the belief in the transformation you're actually able to create. And so most of you, again, the reason you're afraid to charge low prices is because you don't understand enough about your prospects or the services that you're actually selling. And once you do that work, you'll start to realize that, oh my God, I've been talking about this all wrong, and I am 100% worth this. And there are people that need this. I just haven't communicated it this way before.
Yeah. Yeah. I think also for the people that are like listeners that are more logical on things too, if you just want like stats, like how many clients have we worked with across the US that charge over $200 and have a successful practice?
A lot.
Hundreds. Every different demographic, different area in the US that you can think of. You probably have another cash practice owner in your area within a 5-mile radius charging $200 successfully. All right. So it's just, we see the data and all the different, like we have a map of all the different pins of dots where we have clients, and all of them are charging over 200 bucks. Yep. What it comes down to. Right. And so they can be successful. There's no reason you can't be successful. Also on top of that, if you guys had to guess, where do you think the largest cash-based practice in the US would be? Probably not Oakland, California. I can tell you that. All right. We generate over $10 million in our Oakland location, more than any other cash practice. The poverty rate in Oakland is substantially higher than the national average. Mm-hmm. Not only that, but there's not a whole lot of disposable income. Housing, the cost of housing in the Bay Area is one of the definitely top three, if not number one, highest cost of living, right? Probably behind maybe slightly New York. Okay. So they don't have a lot of disposable income because they're paying out of the wazoo for housing. Pricing on everything, gas, everything is just substantially higher. So disposable income is lower than most areas as well. And still, we have the largest cash-based practice in Oakland, California. So your area is not an excuse.
100%. 100%. Yeah, I looked it up a while ago and did a piece of content probably like a couple years ago, but like the average income is like $30,000 in Oakland.
Yeah, it's not good.
So it is not your area. None of you can respond to me, but I hope I have your permission to just lay out the blunt truth. Is it's easier for you to believe that no one in your area can afford your services than it is for you to believe that you're actually just not good at this yet. And it requires working on yourself, looking in the mirror and not saying, oh, nobody can afford this. And instead ask the question of how can I make this so valuable that it's insane not to take it? Like, how do I get so good at communicating my value that it's a no-brainer? That's the right question. That's the question that's going to lead to a journey of personal development, getting better, and actually getting closer to the life that you truly want to live. But this idea that no one in your area can afford your rates, that is just you protecting your own ego from having to do the hard work it takes to actually build something meaningful. That's all it is.
Yeah. And know that's okay not to have that skill set right now. What's not okay is to sulk in that and use that as an excuse to not build the practice that you want.
Right. What are you going to do? Live off like 5% profit margins, if that, for the next 10 years because you can't get over yourself and get better at marketing and sales?
Yep.
Don't do that. You don't deserve that. You deserve to be successful. You got into this industry not to make money. You knew that when you got into it. You did it because you want to help people and work with people who are active like yourself. You're a good human being. You deserve to be successful. You deserve to give yourself the pressure of developing these skill sets. And the best part is anybody can learn this. We just had a client who started with us he was doing $7,000 a month. He had been in all the big PT business programs, and he's still at $7,000 a month for well over a year, almost 2 years. He came and worked with us. We taught him not only how to craft magnetic messaging to attract his dream client, but how do we communicate our services in such a way where the value is obvious and undeniable. And within 60 days, he was doing over $30,000 a month because he learned how to communicate his value. And so it's not that people can't afford it. It's that you're price too low, so you're attracting the wrong people. And B, you have no idea how to communicate your value in a way that positions you as head and shoulders above the standard physical therapy experience.
And just know that you not having the skill set, you're in the same boat as 99.9% of people that started out. Same boat that I was in.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So just know that you might feel like, well, I just don't have it. I don't have that ability to do it. Just know you're not alone. I'd actually be super shocked if you did.
Right.
So just know that you're not alone on where most people start, and just don't get stuck there.
Right.
So there's a way out. Everybody can do it. There is a way out on it. So
in our first marketing agency for PTs, what do you think we were charging, Ben?
I don't
Got a
know.
guess?
I don't want to know.
We're charging, it was free for the first like 20 clients. And then we're charging $500 a month. And we felt so guilty about it, so incredibly guilty about it. But then after a year of that, when Max and I were literally going hungry because we could only afford to pay ourselves $1,000 a month, and it was either rent or groceries a lot of the time, it took us to get to that level of discomfort for us to finally listen to a coach and increase our prices. And now today, people pay us $24,000 at a time in droves by the dozens. They do this. And so your pricing has less to do with you and more to do with how you're communicating what it is that you're actually doing and the experience you're actually providing. The next point that kind of this fades into is like, you think you think other people can't afford your services because you think you're expensive. You're projecting your own price sensitivity onto other people. And so if you think you're expensive, you're damn right. Everyone you talk to about your services is also going to think it's expensive because they can feel that energy from you. They can feel the lack of confidence. They can feel the insecurity when you're asking them for payment. They can tell that you don't think you're worth it. So why in the world would they believe that you're worth it?
Yeah,
Right?
if you can't believe into what you're charging, nobody's going to.
Exactly. So you have to believe it first. And that starts with doing the work to fully understand who it is you're working with and the transformation you're creating and how you create that transformation. That's step one. Once you create that, well, now, okay, let's structure our program, our prices, not based off of what we think other people will buy, but based on what we want out of our lives. Because the cool thing about prices is you get to decide how much you're worth. And there's always going to be a market. As long as you believe you're truly worth that and can back it up, you will always find someone who's willing to pay that. Okay. So you have to believe in what it is that you're charging and stand behind it and be okay with some people saying no.
There's gonna be people that say no, no matter how good you get at this too. And that's the thing too. You can't get jaded when you start hearing no a little bit too. That's just part of the process. Not everybody's going to say yes. There's actually a phenomenon that we call the sophomore slump in pro kinetics. We have PTs that they go through the training and they absolutely crush it with the painfuls and conversions, like the first 2 or 3 weeks. Then they get hit with some objections because it just is going to happen. Not everybody's going to say yes. Now they start second guessing themselves because they didn't have any previous experience of getting hit with rejections for cash pay rates. And so they come in super confident because they went through the training and we hyped them up, all that stuff, and they stick to the script, do everything to a T, and then they get hit with some objections. Now they're pitching different. And so we see a huge slump in conversion. We're actually going through this with the PT right now. Absolutely crushed it with paid in fulls his first month. Now he's going through a little bit of slump in the second and third month here with us. He'll come out of it. Everybody does. But I remember calling him up after his first week where he just had paid in fulls, 100% conversion rate. And I'm like, hey, great. First of all, like I always talk to her about at the end of the week and check in with them and see how they did. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna be Nostradamus here and predict something. Don't make me right. I'm like, all right, we see this every time. People come in super hot. You're gonna get hit with more objections. It's just gonna happen. Don't let that start impacting you how you pitch. Sit down literally this on the Saturday for an hour and just think about your entire process, what you did. Don't change a thing because you are going to get hit with the objections. You're going to start second guessing yourself. And sure enough, I need to give him a call and just give him shit on it.
You raise a really good point because no matter what, everyone has to go through that. It's almost like a law. It's just how it goes. Like, because when you first start, you're at the stage of uninformed optimism. And so you have this naive air about you where you're super confident about what it is that you're saying. You're getting conversions because you have that energy. But then as volume builds up, you start getting more no's, and then you fall down into informed pessimism. And then you start to freak out a little bit that this isn't working. And this is when people are like, I think I got to bring my prices back. People aren't converting. Stupid, because then you got to do the whole process over again. What lessons you don't learn, you have to go through again. And so you have to stay in there. And this is called the pit of despair because some people never make it through this, where they get to the point of informed optimism because they've handled enough rejection and they kept working on it, where they kept getting better until they figured out how to do it consistently. And so there's always this loop that people have to go through where it starts out really great, then it gets really bad, and then you get better, and then things get really good if you don't quit. And so I want to highlight the saying no part because a lot of people, they don't handle rejection well. This is why they're afraid to charge more for their services. But take a look at this because we actually mapped out exactly how many no's Ben's practice gets on a regular basis. And so a lot of you are just avoiding rejection, and that's why you're afraid to increase your prices. But the problem isn't that people aren't saying yes. The problem is that you don't have enough people saying no. That's a real problem. So this is our one of our workbooks. Ben and I are in the process of recreating all of our training for our program based on everything that we've learned over the last 12 years. And so Let's see, where are you? Okay, so here's our pricing calculator. So in here has all of Ben's default data, right? And so I want to show you just how many no's you actually need. Okay. All right. So here's all Ben's actual data: his salary for his team, what his pricing actually needs to be. Oh, you know what? This is the wrong calculator. Offer price calculator. Oh, it's in the sales training. Hold on. Let me pull that one up real quick. While I pull that up, anything else to add on no's, Ben?
Yeah, it's just mean you're that much closer to a yes. We talked about this a little bit on I think, other podcasts. Doesn't give you an excuse to be shitty at sales, right? Yeah, just know that no's is part of the game. Not everybody's going to say yes, and you don't want everybody to say. Honestly,
Right. You got to increase your prices.
Yeah, a good sign of doing sales right is you are getting no's, because you don't want some of these people coming in. Like we had, like, for example, we had like I explained this to my clinic director. We had I get transcriptions of voicemails that we got, and there was one of my PTs that did this phone call. She's like, I really was trying to figure out a way to like not have her come in, because like personality wise was not a great fit, was kind of rude, unpleasant on the phone. And we really didn't want them coming in, honestly, but we just couldn't. She was just adamant about coming in for whatever reason.
Yeah.
We got a voicemail like 2 days later of her like going on a rant on a voicemail, like stating like, I want to cancel my appointment. Don't call me back, because I know how this goes. I'm a personal trainer myself, and I don't want to I don't want any objections try to be overcome on me. Don't call me back. Cancel my appointments. If I see that I'm charged for like a 24-hour cancellation, because she canceled within 24 hours, we told her the policy. So like, if I see a charge on my card for the late cancellation, I'm going to dispute it and report you guys. Like, good riddance. Like, this is the exact reason we charge what we do, because we don't want to deal with people like this.
Right.
So that's the thing too, is like our sales process was almost too good, but then the pricing is what weeded her out at the end of the day, right? Like, thank God we had pricing in here, because otherwise this person would have come in and been an absolute nightmare.
And ask for a refund. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. That's the thing too, is like our thing shields us through that I'm so grateful for on it. So yeah, it helps a lot in a lot of other untangible ways too.
100%. And I bet that personal trainer's business is failing because we attract the type of customer that we are. And so I bet she gets a lot of people who are backing out, who have price sensitivity and are an absolute pain in the ass.
Yep.
And so you attract the type of customer you are. Keep that in mind. Okay. So real quick. So here's our objection prehab enrollment system. I'm not going to cover this thing. I just want to find, okay, here it is, the calculator. So a lot of you, your problem is that you're avoiding rejection. But if Ben and I offered you a job where you followed up with Ben's leads at his practice, and the compensation model was every time you get ghosted, you get paid $443. Every time someone didn't book, you get paid $500. Every time someone cancels, you get paid $2,000. You would take that job. You'd make an insane amount of money very, very quickly. But the thing is, like, that's exactly what Ben is making for every single person that says no. And so I want to show you this real quick, just because it highlights every single time Ben, to do his numbers last year, he had to get ghosted by 1,300 people. He had to have 1,300 people say no to his face on the phone or via email. He had over almost 3,000 people in total reject his prices and his way of doing things. And so I highlight this because the problem isn't you're not getting enough yeses. It's that you're not getting enough no's and you're not trying hard enough. And so you got to think about this, map out your numbers so that you know, it's like, I don't care if someone says no, because that means statistically that I'm one step closer to actually getting my yes. And I actually made money on that no, as long as your systems are not trash. You know, if you're doing a halfway decent job, you're going to make money every single time somebody says no.
Yeah. It's just math. Like, I do not get butthurt over no's anymore. Like, it's
Right.
part of the game. It's part of the game.
If you don't see my value, fine.
Fine.
You're not ready right now, but I know I'm going to get you. You're going to watch my stuff.
Yep.
And you're going to come around when you're ready to.
Yep. Fine. I'll see you in 6 months.
Right. So I think the final point that I think we should make here is that, again, if you think your prices are expensive, everyone else is going to think it's expensive. So do the deep work to figure out why you're actually worth this much. attend our magnetic messaging workshop this Saturday. We'll throw the link beneath this so you can attend, so we can build out your magnetic messaging workbook. That is, once you're done with this, you're not only going to know how to attract your dream clients, but you're going to understand how to communicate your services, why they're worth premium rates, and you're going to feel a hell of a lot better about charging premium rates because you've brought awareness to why you're actually worthy of charging premium rates. The last part is a little bit of a sidestep, but you're going to get the objections that you give. If you think your prospects can't afford your services and you're getting a lot of price objections and you're not able to overcome those, you're probably someone who thinks a lot of things are too expensive and you give price objections. Because if you were someone who was willing and able and has done large investments in yourself, you would have the conviction and the ability to get someone else to do the same. And so we aren't able to overcome the objections that we give because we believe them when other people tell us those objections. Food for thought.
Yep. 100%.
Again, everybody, if you want to attend our magnetic messaging workshop, Ben and I will be live March 7th at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll throw the link beneath this chat. We'll probably put the replay in there for those of you who can't make it live. But I hope this gave you some inspiration to, even though it's terrifying, even though it's scary, just do it. Because the thing about sales is it's always extremely uncomfortable at first, but everything we want is always on the other side of discomfort. Once you do it, once you close someone at $2,000, you will kick yourself for not doing it years earlier. Because once you do it once, your idea of what is and isn't expensive changes forever. And so the more you sell at a higher price point, the more belief you actually have that you're worth it. And so you have to just start. Don't start at the low end because you're never going to get to the high end that way, because now your entire client base are people who won't pay that rate. Start high so you can attract the right people. And then you can just keep increasing it until your conversion rate is at a healthy number. Because if it's at 100%, you're not charging enough.
Yep. I also want to double down on don't prevent yourself from having that experience. So I've hit a lot of different milestones in ProKinetics. We did $3 million last year. We've done $1 million a year. We've done over $10 million.
Almost $1 million profit year this year.
Yeah, we're on pace for $1 million profit. The top three best feeling from the business side of things that I ever had was the first time somebody paid $2,000 for a package. Mm-hmm. That's better than that's better feeling than the $3 million that we generated, because it shifted such a belief in myself and just gave me a completely different outlook on life and optimism that I did not have before that. More than those other milestones. Top three best mind shifting experience, and don't prevent yourself from being able to have that shift, not just from in your business, but in your life personally. Yeah. Your perception of life and how the world works completely changes when you can do that.
100%. That's a great note to end on. Thanks, everyone. If this inspired you in any way, if you have questions on any of this, don't hesitate to drop a comment. We look at all of them. We'll get back to you. But take the step. It's terrifying, but there's never been a time when someone did something that they knew they should do, but they're afraid to do, that they regretted doing. We don't regret the things we've done. We regret the things we didn't do. Just do it. Just freaking do it. Have a good day, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast.